to practice on drums. And I'm going to give you basically like kind of my format for each time I practice, and also what I tell my students to kind of work on and how I break down lessons. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe. And also, all the stuff I'm talking about in this video is actually included in my book, Tactical Drumming, Groove Survival Guide. The stuff about hands, feet, groove, other things. So check that out. And anyways, let's kind of get into it. So, and I'll put a link for that in the description. All right, so let's kind of dig into this. So the first thing that anytime I sit down and practice, the first thing I do is I actually always work on my hands, right? And the reason for that is I want to develop strength, speed, right, in my hands. And actually, there's a couple different things. Well, let's get into it. So the first thing is hands, right? So with my hands, what I'm trying to do is I want to develop speed, but there's actually 3 strokes that I like to focus on, right? So those 3 strokes are single strokes, which are just right, left, right, left. Double strokes, which are right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And then triple strokes, which are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right, 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 left, left, left. So the idea with each of these is to actually gain more speed and more power, right? So if I'm playing single strokes, right, I want to be able to move that around the drum. I want to be able to fluidly move that around the drum. The same is true with double strokes, right? I want to be able to play those nice and strong. But also with that strength, I want to be able to move them around the drum. And the same is true with the triple stroke. I want to be able to play that likewise with speed. And then move those around the drum. All right, so you get the idea, right? So now, on top of that, the ways that I work on that is I'll start them slowly, speed them up. It also allows me to play paradiddles, double paradiddles, triples, all sorts of different rudiments, flam rudiments, especially with the 3s, right? It's a breakdown of those things. I have rudiment videos on that on my channel. Check those out for a little bit more information. But basically, I'm working singles, doubles, and triples in all sorts of different forms with the idea of getting stronger and faster as I work on those. The next element of technique that I'm going to work on is stuff with my feet, all right? And with feet, we kind of have 2 primary components, and that is 1, independence, right? So being able to, for example, play, I don't know, like something like this. And then on top of that, be able to play whatever I want on top while that rhythm stays the same. The idea, right? So what I would do is start with something very simple. It might be as simple as just keeping quarter notes on the hi-hat and then playing 8th notes, then 16th, right? Then I have my bass drum, right? With the hi-hat maybe, right? And basically building up so that I have complete independence and I just keep adding different things. So that's another thing. The other element that I mentioned was technique, right? With the bass drum, right? I use a heel up technique, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on things like double strokes and single strokes with my bass drum, right? Just like I was doing with my snare. So I might be playing, just playing that or playing like splits, right? Right, and trying to get those things faster and stronger so that I can incorporate them with my grooves and into fills. All right, so the next thing I'm going to work on, so we got our technique, our chops on our hands and our feet. The next thing I'm going to work on is really the 90, 95, 99% of what we do as drummers, and that is groove. This is our meat and potatoes. This is our strength. This is everything, right? So with that, I'm going to start with basic grooves. I'm going to make sure I can play a rock groove, a jazz groove, a shuffle. I'm going to be able to play a Latin pop groove, right? I'm going to play this whole plethora of grooves, and not to plug my book again, but all these things are included in my book, Tactical Drumming, right? So, but anyways, so I would just start with a simple 1, 2, 3, and... And then I would play around with that and experiment with it. Try to stay really in the pocket, play with a metronome, play along with other things, right? Same thing is true if I'm playing like a swing groove, a boom, 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 with metronome. right, and your swing groove might not be that complicated. It might be starting with just simple quarter notes or whatever, but I always take time every single day to work on a variety of grooves, especially newer grooves, right, that I might not be as familiar with. And I'm going to take the time to actually break those completely down, right? So if I'm working on something like, I don't know, like just like a little pop thing with like a 16 on the hi-hat, right, like upbeat, like, right, that's going to take quite a few things. I got to make sure my threes, right, for my technique are there. I got to make sure my feet are independent, right, and I got to make sure that backbeat is happening nice and solidly on 2 and 4. The next thing I'm going to work on is my vocabulary, right, my fills, my vocab fills. And with that, I want to make sure that I got a lot of variety happening in what I'm playing, right? So what I mean by that is I'm going to start experimenting with fills. And my fills are going to come really in 3 primary modes. One is going to be a full bar fill, right? Kind of your classic. The next might be something that's like 2 beats. 1, 2. Right, something that's going to basically set up the next thing. And then the one that I think a lot of times drummers skip is just doing another fill on just beat 4. 1, 2, 3. We actually play fills just on 1 beat all the times. So what I would do is I would come up with a fill idea, and then from there I would play 3 bars of groove, and then I would incorporate my fill so that I've got it down well enough that I've mastered it, right? So for example, if my fill pattern is very simply, right, something simple and syncopated, I'm going to put that in with a groove. 1, 2. Practice that a number of different times, a number of different ways. I might have it where I'm playing it as a double stop. I might play it as like filling in with ghost notes. Right, I might have it just as is. But I'm going to play it a whole bunch of different varieties so that I can improve and increase my vocabulary, and then I'm always going to play it with the groove and in the style, whether it be swing or jazz or shuffle or pop or a Latin groove or whatever. And the last one, and I cannot stress this one enough, and in fact I would say it's actually probably one of the most important things, and that is taking the time to listen. If you're trying to emulate grooves and trying to build your chops, listen to drummers that play in those styles, right? Listen to listen to great drummers that play rock. Listen to great drummers who play jazz. Listen to great drummers who play shuffles, right? And emulate what they're doing. Also listen to their fills, listen to their groove, right? Listen to what they're doing, because there's so many little nuanced things that can improve your ability. So taking a few minutes at the beginning, preferably, or even at the end of your rehearsal or your practice, sorry, and listening to a few people and be like, oh yeah, I see what they're doing, and then trying and experimenting with those things are going to be good. And then, as much as you can, play along, right? So if you got a good headset, throw that music on and then try it out. All right, so anyways, that's kind of the way I like to practice the drums, right? It gives you a couple things. You're working on your technique and chops with your hands and your feet. You're focusing on groove. You're building that vocabulary with fills. And last, of course, and really should be first, and that is listen and play along. And there's nothing that could probably substitute that, because you really got to listen to improve your skills. So anyways, that's it. So that's how you practice.